Grand Rising Divine Legends. Gigi Jenkins here with a practice all about gratitude, truly. And because I'm also about universal laws, I have another channel where I go by Rev Gina J, Reverend Gina Jenkins, which really stands for how much I revere the truth of the oneness and the unity that really begins within. And I talk a lot about that over on my other channel and the other socials. And you'll often hear me refer to universal laws, and I unpack them week by week on that other channel because we are on the law of individualization. I felt it very appropriate to bring into this practice and to highlight for you as well to shine your unique light bright. As I sat and wrote in my gratitude journal, before I even picked up this card and saw that, I was definitely expressing my gratitude after some events that have happened earlier in this day. And I am so grateful to be here knowing that this is a way that I uniquely express my bright light, that I love teaching and I also love the practice of yoga. And I'm designing this in particular to nourish our bodies, to bring us back to that magical middle within, which I say is the infinite well of wisdom that we access, that infinite place of serenity, equilibrium, the peace beyond all understanding within the finite mind. Yes. And so it's universal laws that have really helped me embody the faith that I grew up with. And it's just gone deeper and deeper. And the trust has gone deeper and deeper. And the miracles continue. And as I unpack this card a little bit before we get going in the practice, it's the law of individualization, and it is shine your unique light bright. You are the individualization of the one spirit, a unique divine expression. You are the Alpha and Omega, embodied as a fractal of the one mind. Universal laws are designed to be uniquely directed by each person for specific experiential outcomes, meaning we go for the experiences that we want to have in this lifetime. Furthermore, I am the only person in this entire universe with your divine gift, my divine gift, me, you are your divine gift. You are your divine gift. You are the individualization of spirit. You are the fractal of the divine mind experiencing this life through this form. By drawing this card, it is a reminder to embrace yourself exactly as you are. Let go of trying to be what the culture has told you to be. Let go of looking for validation and confirmation from people in your life. You are a trendsetter, a visionary, a unique divine individual. The world is ready for you to take the lead. The universe is ready to reflect your shining light. Yes. And we're going to place both hands over our heart as we open up this practice in your seated position. Find your tall spine, roll your shoulders back away from your ears. Take one hand on the heart, the other on top of that hand. Close your eyes and let's take a big breath together. Blow that out like a candle. Do that again. Big inhale. Blow it out like a candle. One more. Blow it out like a candle. Breathing on your own, I'm going to open us in the practice with a spiritual mind treatment. So just recognizing the oneness, the individualization of the divine mind, the fractal of the light that is without circumference, the light that has no ending, the infinite is that is expressing through every cell of this form, and the awareness that is here, knowing there is only one, there is only one source, and it is love. It is love expressing through every experience. It is either love looking for more love or love giving more love. It truly is always about where is our actions rooted in fear or in love. And knowing that this practice is what brings us back into the magical middle and the equilibrium of knowing the truth of the oneness, the unity with love, that it is always love and it is love expressing through us as us and all times, in all ways, all ways. Knowing that this practice reminds us that we are always validated and perfectly approved in the divine mind. There is nothing wrong. All is well. Taking another big breath and letting that go. We're releasing this word up into the divine mind with so much gratitude for the practice to come back within and to know the truth of who we are. And together we say, so it is. And with that, find your feet. And we're going to start standing at the top of our mat in our mountain pose, and I'm going to break mountain pose down a little bit. If you are brand new to the practice, let's talk about what we're doing here. We're finding a sturdy foundation. So especially if you're brand new to yoga and you may just have been walking around and you're coming onto the mat for the first time, we are about finding alignment and balance within the body once again on our mats. And it starts with a firm foundation, and it's understanding that you have so many joints, ligaments, blood vessels, lots and lots going on in the feet. So there's so much going on in the feet. You want to line your feet up under your hips, or if you need a little more space, you're going to take your feet a little wider than your hips, right? If you've had a lot of babies, you've got really tight hips, you've got a lot of external rotation in maybe one hip, you need a little more space, take it. We're not trying to look like 14-year-old Indian boys. We're not. We're accepting this is part of, right? Coming back to the truth of who we are is accepting where we are in any given moment in this body. And on our mats, we practice acceptance. We practice that giving, that nourishing acceptance, which is unconditional love to ourselves. It starts here. When we get good at that here, it naturally flows out to the world. So finding those feet, and we're looking for really 3 points on the foot. You're looking for, let me find my balance here. You're looking for one on each side of the ball of your foot, and then in the middle of your heel. And you're weighting down into those 3 points, maybe even wiggling your toes a little bit. So you're really finding that weight down into those 3 points. Parallel or a little bit wider from your hips, toes pointing forward to that front edge of your mat. And then you're going to want to lift your kneecaps to engage your quads. And that's not locking your knees out. That's not what we're doing there. We're lifting the kneecaps slightly to engage the quads. And we're pulling the belly in and maybe lifting it a little bit. If you're tipped forward, which a lot of us as we age, we have that curve in the spine. Naturally, we're tipping that pelvic floor forward. So we want to lift up and neutralize our pelvic floor. Keeping that belt tight around the waist, always in moving through our postures in yoga to protect this low back. So you're always going to hear me tighten that belt around your waist. And that's just pulling those abs in and up to keep that pelvic floor neutralized. And then shoulders roll away from the ears and soft back down. And I want you to do that again. Roll the shoulders up to your ears and back down away from the ears. And one more time, roll them up to the ears and back down away from the ears. And then the chin slightly tucks back so that the ears line up over the shoulders. And we don't lift that chin, creating any crunch in our cervical spine. And we don't tuck the chin in, creating extra stretch there that's unnecessary through the shoulders. Just that neutral, parallel position to the floor. And then palms can be forward or they can be toward the legs if that feels better and you need that for your shoulders, right? So I'm always teaching in a way that honors where you may be at in your practice. We'll take a big inhale and we'll reach up. And I recognize I need to move my mat out just a bit. So I'm not knocking against this wall. And you still see me perfect. Take a big inhale, reach up. Bring your hands through heart center and press your palms together as they come through, starting to open up the wrists. Inhale, reach up. Exhale down through heart center, press the palms together, opening up the wrists. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale through heart center, pressing the palms together, opening up the wrists. And then take that big inhale once again. You're spreading the fingers, feeling the stretch of the whole side of the body. You're going to grab that left wrist and you're going to lean to the right. You're going to inhale, reach up, spread the fingers, feel the whole arm engaged. Grab that right wrist and lean to the left. We'll do that again. Inhale, reach up, spread the fingers, feel the stretch to the whole side body. Left wrist and we lean. Inhale, reach up, spread. Exhale, right wrist over to that left side. One more each side. Inhale, reach up. Keeping that belt tight around your waist and the rib cage closed, right? Not splaying open your rib cage. Inhale, reach up. Last time here, grabbing that right wrist and leaning to the left. We'll take an inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Press your palms in as you open the wrists. Drop your shoulders away from your ears and drop your right ear into your right shoulder. Take a breath there. Inhale, head up through center. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Take a breath there. Inhale, head up through center. Exhale, chin down into the chest. Take an inhale here. Exhale, chin up and back. Go slow and only as far as it feels okay for your cervical spine. And then inhale that chin back into your chest. You're still pressing your palms together at your chest, opening up the wrist. Exhale, up and back. Go slow, not going further than it feels okay for that cervical spine. One more time. Inhaling, chin into the chest. And up and back with the exhale. And then inhale through neutral, and we'll drop the hands to the side. We're going to take this left leg back into a short stance warrior one. That's rotating this foot out to a 45-degree angle and taking a shorter step back. It could be here or here. You don't want to be way back here. So short stance warrior one is about 6-8 inches from that front foot. You want to be able to bend that knee slightly. It's a short stance so that you can immediately pull that hip forward, evening the hip points, engage that back glute, feel that length through that back leg, finding that back edge of that foot. Taking an inhale, we'll reach up. We'll exhale, goalpost the arms, palms facing forward, elbows in line with your shoulders. We'll take an inhale as we squeeze the shoulder blades together, and we'll exhale, round a little bit as you draw those elbows together in front of you, tucking the chin in. We'll flow that. Inhaling, open up, squeeze shoulder blades together. Exhale, round, tuck the chin, bring those elbows together. One more time. Inhale, open up, squeezing shoulder blades together. And then exhale, round and bring the elbows in. Inhale, one more time, open up. Exhale as you draw hands into heart center, pressing palms together, and we'll step that back leg forward and we'll go to the other side. I'm just going to turn so I'm not facing away from you. So we'll step that right leg back into that short stance warrior two, 45-degree angle on that back foot, slight bend in that front knee. You don't want to be over the toes. You want to keep it right over the ankle, pulling that back hip forward right away, engaging that back glute. Finding that length through that back leg, finding your back edge on that foot, shoulders soft away from your ears, tailbone long, belt is tight around your waist. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, goalpost those arms. We're doing the same thing on this side. Palms are forward and elbows are in line with your shoulders. We'll inhale, squeeze the out shoulder blades together, opening up through the chest. And then exhale, bring the elbows together, rounding and scooping a little bit in there. Not big movement. with that round and scoop, just slightly. Inhale, opening up, stretching through the chest. Bring the elbows together, tucking in a little bit there. One more inhale, open up. Exhale, bring the elbows together. We'll inhale, open up. Exhale as we draw those hands into heart center, pressing palms together, and step your back leg forward. We're going to flow that a little bit. So we're going to take that left leg back. Short stance warrior one. We're going to open up, and then we're going to come forward and close the elbows, rounding and scooping a little bit. So take that short stance warrior one on this side, opening up, and then exhale, bringing elbows together, rounding and scooping a little bit. We're flowing here, stepping back, other side, short stance warrior one, pulling shoulder blades together, and then elbows together in front, other side. Open up. Exhale, bring it forward. One more each side. Step back, open up. Bring it forward. Other side, step back, open up. Exhale, bring it forward. And then inhale, reach up. And we're going to come all the way forward. Bring your hands through heart center. You're hinging through your hips, flat back as you round down at the bottom. Finding a forward fold, keeping knees slightly bent. Belly can rest on the thighs, not locking out the knees at all. Head is heavy. Finding that big breath here. Breathing into any tight hamstrings. Letting the low back relax into this. That belly's resting on the thighs. Head heavy, long neck and spine. Taking another breath. Then we're going to move from here. Halfway lift with your next inhale. Lengthening the legs. Hands can come up the shins. You lift halfway. You gaze out that front edge of your mat. You're lifting through the glutes. So you feel the stretch through your hamstrings. And then exhale, fold down again, bending the knees, letting the belly rest on the thighs. Head goes heavy, long neck and spine. Hands find the floor. We'll do that again. Inhale, lengthen up halfway. Exhale, fold down, bending the knees deeply, finding a nice long spine, head heavy, and we'll do it one more time. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, float down. We're going to come up like a rag doll, so go slow. Arms stay heavy, chin stays tucked the whole time. Bend your knees deeply. You're rolling up one vertebrae at a time, going slow. Like I said, chin stays tucked. Arms stay heavy. When you get a little taller, you're going to roll your shoulders back. Come all the way tall before that chin lifts up slowly, letting that blood come back up into the head slowly. Finding a prop. I brought my block today. If you don't have a block, find a book. We want a prop to put between our thighs for our chair work today. We're going to work on strengthening the adductors. We have tight abductors and we've got any kind of external rotation. This is exactly where we would want to strengthen, is in the inner thigh area. And the block can do it really quickly and get us there with these postures. So go find your block, your book, and meet me back up at the top of the mat. The block goes between the thighs. We're squeezing the block between the thighs. So you want to feel your quads engage as you squeeze that block. And then we're going to find a chair. So belt tight around the waist, shoulders soft away from those ears. We'll take the hands to heart center, press the palms together, and we'll sit back into our chair. We're hinging from the hips, sitting back into the chair. And notice the knees aren't going anywhere, right? They're staying fairly over that second toe, pointing forward. And you're sitting as deeply as feels okay without rounding over. You want to keep that flat back, keep your tailbone long, keep your shoulders away from your ears, and you're sitting as back as far as feels good, engaging the quads the whole time. And then we'll flow from here. So we'll inhale, draw our palms back behind us, little tricep work here, and then exhale, come back into that chair, palms at heart center. Inhale, lift, pull the arms back. Exhale, sit back into that chair. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sit back. Two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sit back. One more. Inhale, lift. exhale, sit back. We're going to work into a little twist here. So take your arms forward with your inhale at shoulder height. And as you exhale, draw that right arm behind you, maybe gazing with it as you draw back. Notice, take a peek. Your knees didn't move out of position next to each other because you're squeezing that block. So block can be really helpful in chair work. If you know you have weaker abductors and your knees maybe wobble a little bit. So it's a great way to strengthen that whole area. Taking one last breath here, keeping shoulders soft away from the ears, belt tight around the waist. Exhaling all the way. Inhale that arm forward. And exhale this left arm back. And we're holding here, shoulders soft away from the ears. Maybe peek again. Notice the knee didn't move. Block can be very helpful. Book, even if that's what your prop is, keeping that belt tight, taking one last breath. Exhaling all the way. We'll inhale forward and we'll exhale, fold all the way over and take your block down on your mat between your feet. Leave it there. Find your hands planted under the shoulders and step back into a plank pose. So you can go right away to the knees if you need a modified plank. But if you can hold a plank on the toes, we're not going to be here very long, taking a few breaths, just building heat, building strength. I want to talk about your plank pose though for a moment. And just, I want you to notice where your hips are. So your hips, to get the most out of your plank pose, the best aligned and the most efficient to get engagement from all the muscles that we're trying to engage here, is to keep the hips lifted to shoulder height. So I'm kind of bouncing them because I want you to notice I'm higher than where you will find most plank poses. You're going to see here for most plank poses, those hips are way lower than the shoulders and you're not engaging the core like you could, and I'll say like you should, because you'll notice by picking the hips up, you're turning on your abs more. And you're distributing the weight in your plank better between the upper and lower extremities. Keeping those shoulders from coming up into the ears, you're gazing out that front edge, keeping the neck nice and long into the spine, holding for one more breath. And then we're going to set the knees down and we're going to find a kneeling plank from here. So you want to tap the tops of your feet onto the mat, kind of glue them there, and then walk your hands up toward that front edge of your mat a little further, finding that kneeling plank. I want you to imagine tennis balls under your arms that you're squeezing in as you come forward a little bit and lowering halfway, touching the block with the bottom part of your chest, and then lifting back up. And then coming back, hips toward heels, into a bit of a child pose with your head finding the block. And we're going to flow that. We're going to inhale up into our kneeling plank. Hands should come in closer to under the shoulders for your plank pose. I'm recognizing my hands are a little too far. You always want to have those hands close to the shoulders, wrists aligned underneath the shoulders. So hugging that tennis ball, elbows are skimming the torso as we lower halfway, touching that block with the bottom of our chest, lifting back up, pushing right back up to build that bicep tricep strength, and then pulling back to your child pose. Not all the way, but finding that length through the arms. Inhaling forward, kneeling plank. Exhaling, lowering, squeezing that tennis ball under your arm, tight through your waist to protect the low back, feeling that block underneath the chest, pressing back up with your inhale and exhaling back toward that child pose. One more. We'll inhale forward. Exhale, lower, squeezing that tennis ball. Exhale, press back up. Exhale, find your child pose. Come all the way back, hips towards your heels. Head finds the mat. Draw your hands back towards your heels. Tuck your thumb in. Cross the fingers over the thumbs and roll the wrists out both directions. Taking one more breath here. Take the hands back up past the ears. Finding that monkey grip as you pull yourself waving up into your tabletop. We'll wag the tail, taking hips one way, looking the other direction. A couple times here, releasing through our side seat. And then we're going to take those hands back up to that front edge, tuck your toes, find your plank pose again, and lift hips up for down dog. And begin to walk your dog. So you're pressing one heel down as you bend the opposite knee, and you're pedaling out a bit here. And let's talk about what's happening through the shoulders and the shoulder girdle. You want to make sure that your shoulder girdle is locked into place like you found in mountain pose. Elbows or shoulders are soft away from the ears, and your arm is fully engaged up into that shoulder socket. Your ears are close to your bicep, not hanging through, long through your neck and spine, and your hips are lifting up. Finding that stretch down the back of the leg. Come through stillness with your heels pressing through to the mat. Taking one more breath here. And then you're going to baby step up towards your hands. So you'll take small little steps, pressing the heel each time you step. As you come closer to your hands, you'll tense your fingers so you can stay connected to the earth. You're taking these little steps, finding a big stretch down the back of the leg. With each step, you can remove that block off to the side, stepping up into that forward fold, bending knees, resting the belly, head heavy, grab elbows with opposite hands, and you'll sway side to side gently. Come through center, let your arms go. Take a halfway lift with your next inhale, lengthening through the spine. And then exhale, fold down. We'll root down, rise up, sweep up, maybe gaze up. Find those hands pulling through to heart center on your exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold over, either pulling hands through heart center or swan diving over, flat back and then rounding at the bottom. Halfway lift with your next inhale. And exhale, fold down. Stepping right leg back, finding a low lunge. We'll take that right hand next to the left foot and we'll reach the left arm up into the air. We're going to find some big arm circles here, reaching that left arm back towards your right heel and sweeping the arm forward. We'll do that 2 more times. A big circle, go slow. Stretching through that whole shoulder socket. 1 more back, forward, reaching up. Taking that inhale and then exhale, frame the foot, step back, plank pose. And we'll move through our high-low push-up, remembering all those cues from before. So shifting forward, making room so that the shoulders can squeeze that tennis ball under your armpit, and then knees or toes, you're lowering either halfway or all the way, elbows skimming the body, shoulders soft away from the ears. If you're with me in Cobra, tops of feet pressing into the mat. If you're on your toes, lifting up into your up dog, and then down dog from here, knowing you can tuck your toes, push your hips into your heels and lift from there. Always a great way to modify coming into your down dog. And then walking your dog. And taking those breaths and finding that place of peace once again with the breath. So we create that chaos in the body, but we find the peace through the breath. Finding stillness in 1 more breath. On your next inhale, you'll come to your tippy toes. You'll bend your knees, look at your thumbs, and you're going to walk, step, or hop to that front edge, right? Whatever feels right for you there. Take a halfway lift with your next inhale. Exhale, fold down. You'll root down, rise up, sweep up, maybe gaze up. Hands come through heart center on the exhale. We'll go to the other side. Inhale, reach up. I'm just switching over so I don't face away from you. And fold down, swan diving or bringing hands through heart center, knowing you always have options there. Halfway lift with your next inhale. Exhale, fold down. You're going to plant the hands under the shoulders, step your left leg back into that low lunge. Draw that left hand closer to that right foot and reach that right arm up into the air. Keep this knee pulling in. It wants to fall out. You're building that strength on the outside of the leg. Big sweeping of that arm back toward that left heel and then forward to that wall in front of you or whatever space that is, taking another slow, intentional circling of that arm, feeling that deep stretch happening. One more back toward that heel, forward toward that wall. Reach it up with a big inhale. Framing the foot on your exhale and stepping into your plank pose. We'll move through that high-low push-up with the breath. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower down, squeezing that tennis ball, hugging the body with the elbows, knees or toes, up dog or cobra with your next inhale, and exhale to down dog. I'm rolling over the toes this time, knowing I could tuck, push the hips to the heels and lift from there. Breathing here. You can find the stillness or walking the dog, whatever your body needs. Even finding child pose if that's what you need. Taking one more breath here. Next inhale, we'll come to the tippy toes, bend the knees, look at the thumbs, walk, step, hop to that front edge, halfway lift on your next inhale. Exhale, fold down. Root down, rise up, sweep up. And exhale, hands into heart center. So here's a point in class I'm going to bring in some breath work. And I was thinking on the way over how grateful I am to be here, truly, to have this place to practice for my own body, for my own journey, and to share my practice with my skill as a yoga instructor and the ability to cue with safe cueing and help bring alignment into your body. And I'm just so grateful. And one of the breaths that is my favorite is the breath of joy. And because it is a big expressive breath and it really does encapsulate where I find myself today. And so I want to bring that breath of joy to you and teach it to you. And we'll do it at the front of our mat. But what it is, it's a big breath that starts deep within the belly, and it's a 3-part breath. So you want to really take it starting low so that you're building that breath up from the belly into the chest, into the throat, and then a big exhale out. And there's arm movements with each part of that breath. When we start the belly breath low in the belly, we bring the arms out to the sides. Once it comes into the chest, we're sweeping the arms. No, excuse me. We're going forward first. Yes, that's what it is. So with the belly, it's forward, chest to the side, throat all the way up to the ears, and then we're bending the knees deeply, exhaling audibly, and pushing that energy through past the legs. So I'll demonstrate, and then I'll invite you to come with me. Find that mountain pose, finding grounding through the feet, engaging the kneecaps, pulling that pelvic floor neutral, belt tight around the waist, shoulders soft away from the ears, slight tuck of that chin, and this is what it looks like. You have to start it low, so you're building it up. And we're going to do 5 rounds. And come with me. Let's go. Last one. Taking a big inhale, reach up. Take your hands through heart center, keeping palms together. Soften the shoulders, tighten the belt, neutralize your pelvic floor. Feel your feet. Turn on that Mula Bandha, which is squeezing through that pelvic floor. And close the eyes down. Just take notice. Take notice of the energy coursing through your body right now after that little bit of energetic breath work. Feel your firm foundation holding you up, knowing you're safe to feel what you're feeling, safe to experience what you're experiencing. Allow the lips to curl up and that joy to invade your heart. Taking one more breath here. Good. Opening the eyes. Take an inhale. Reach up. Exhale through heart center. You're going to fold over, hinging out the hips, coming all the way down. And then plant your hands. Take yourself into tabletop and turn facing me in a seated position. And we're going to work some stretches here on the mat. So that energetic work is done. Those bigger postures are done. Let's sit tall. Engage that belt. Shoulders soft away from the ears. And let's drop this left hand and reach this right arm overhead. So you're always going to see me turn my palm up. It's a way to keep the shoulder opening up. There's so much we do during the day. If we're working in front of a computer, if we're on our devices, we're bringing those shoulders forward, right? We have so much going on that brings us forward, driving and writing and reading, and right, it's all that gravity is bringing us forward. So wanting to find that balance in the body, I'm always automatically opening that palm to open that shoulder and then stretching that arm over the ear. Inhale as you reach up and exhale, we'll switch. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, switch. We're just flowing this. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, switch. We'll get one more each side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Next time we're going to twist. So inhale up. And then exhale. Don't grab this knee and pull yourself into the twist. Gentle pressure there. Find that back arm straight behind your hip, providing a little bit of a kickstand, but just notice that the shoulder doesn't come up into your ears. So you want to keep that shoulder soft away from your ears. And then you're going to inhale the length through the spine and exhale, twisting from the waist. The head's the last piece to come, right? So we're not starting that action from the shoulders or chest area. It's starting low here from the low belly and the waist, and then building from there. Finding that good alignment, breathing, maybe looking over that left shoulder or not. And if it feels good to turn the direction of your head over both shoulders, so slowly and gently, just giving your neck some release there. Taking one more breath here. Inhale through center, bring arms overhead. And then we'll drop into this other side. And same thing, you're not pulling yourself in, but you're starting that twist from the low belly and the waist, kickstanding that arm behind you, not letting that shoulder lift up into the ear. And then we're inhaling, finding the length in the spine, and we're exhaling, maybe deepening the twist and knowing that we can keep the head looking back or forward or anywhere in between. And if it feels okay to turn the head over each shoulder gently, you can find a little neck stretch there. Taking one more breath. Inhale through center. Exhale, shoulders down away from the ears. Bring your arms together. Hands will cross. One thumb's on top, and we'll figure eight. One direction. Giving our wrists some TLC. And then the other direction. Switch that. And then we'll go on the other side by uncrossing, crossing the other way so the other thumb lands on top, and figure eight, one direction. and then switch, go the other way. Little brain tease there. You're going to extend your right leg out, keep your left foot connected to that inner thigh, one-legged forward fold here. So I started to bring the leg off to the side, but I want that directly in front of me for that one-legged forward fold, keeping the toes flexed in front of you. And I recognize you can't see those, so let me open up and give you that side view of what we're doing. Toes are flexed to keep this pelvic floor neutral and to engage the whole leg. This foot's tucked in, flat back, long spine, shoulders soft away from the ears, and belt is tight. We'll inhale, arms overhead. And then we're folding forward, hinging from the hips, keeping the back flat, the arms drop wherever they do. If you have that book or block nearby you, you can use it. Another one would go on the other side, but even on the one side, right? That can be helpful. Keeping the chin from tucking in, we're taking the stretch just through the back of the leg initially here. Taking another breath. As you exhale, now tuck your chin, let your back curl a little bit here and find that stretch. Go up into the upper back and along the neck. Last breath. Inhale, lift up. And then we're going to open this leg up about 45 degrees from where it was. And you can keep this leg tucked in, this foot tucked in here. And we're going to rotate toward this leg. So we're going to twist a little bit from the waist. Inhale, arms overhead. Fold down over that leg. And we're going to rotate open pretty quickly here. So take one more breath. And then we're going to revolve open. So what that looks like is drawing that right arm inside the leg. And you can find an anchor point if that feels right to you, grabbing big toes, grabbing the ankle, if it feels right for your body to hang on to the foot before you start to twist open. So we're revolving open and we start this action from the waist. We're trying to stack the shoulders on top of each other. Really, this is a deep pose. Don't judge yourself, accept where you are. Gaze can stay at the floor, taking pressure off the neck. And then this other arm will start to lift up toward the sky and go slow if you want to bring it over the ear. So this might be enough for you. Stop where it feels like you've gone too far. You don't want to go too far in this pose and tear anything. Go very slow. If you're drawing the arm over the ear, just noticing how it's deepening that stretch along the side seat, to your hip area. Keep the shoulder opening up by turning that palm open. Take one more breath. We're going to lift up and twist out of this. So inhale, lift your upper body and come open to this bent leg, twisting open, looking over that left shoulder, taking another breath. And we're going to find a little bit of a flow here, but piece by piece, I'm going to teach you. So we'll fold over this leg with an inhale. Exhale all the way here. We're going to go slow on this first round. And then we're going to lift up, take this left hand behind the left hip, reach the right arm up. This might be as far as you go, but if you can, push into your legs and lift your hips up. It's a modified wild thing, reaching this right arm back. And we're going to flow between those two movements. So we'll come down, we'll inhale into this fold, and we'll lift, drop that hand behind us, and reach this right arm back on the exhale. Do it again. Inhale, find your fold. Lift and exhale. One more. Inhale, find your fold. And exhale, find your lift. Good, release all the way down. And we'll switch the leg. It's out for our forward fold first. So I'm just going to change direction. Again, I'm not facing away from you. So this right foot tucks in, this left leg is long, toes are flexed. We're finding our flat back, shoulders soft, belt tight around the waist. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, fold down over this leg. Keep your chin from tucking initially, right? We're just stretching the back of the leg to begin with. You're not locking this knee out. You're keeping as much of a bend as you need. Keep these toes flexing, protecting your ankle, engaging through the whole leg, really getting that deep hamstring stretch, knowing you can pull props in here. Blocks can be helpful. Take another inhale. As you exhale now, you're tucking the chin in, curling a little bit into this, allowing that stretch to come up through the upper back into the neck area. Take another breath. And inhale your upper body up. And exhale, shoulders soft away from the ears. We'll open this leg up to that 45-degree angle. Bring that foot over to press into that thigh again. We're rotating, right? Twisting a little bit toward that leg. Inhale, arms overhead. Keep that foot flexed. You're folding down over that leg. Taking another breath. Keep your shoulders soft away from the ears, not finding them lifting up. And then we'll go slow for the modified wild thing on this side, bringing that right hand behind the right hip. Left arm can reach up, or we can press into the legs and push the hips up and reach back for a little deeper wild thing. So we'll inhale into the fold and exhale, lift and reach back. Inhale into your fold. Exhale, find that lift. One more. Inhale into your fold. Exhale into that lift. And then release all the way down. Find your legs in front of you. You can keep them long or bend them up. Long is going to be your most intense. Bend's going to take the intensity off a little bit. Make sure there's enough room for you to roll back, but we're going slower than we want to go. So we're really not rolling down. We're lowering the upper body with our transverse abdominal chain. So you're turning all these abs on and you're working them the whole time. You're going slower than you want to go. You're making it shake and quake, getting a little bit of ab work in here. That's what I do. Put this in every class. People know it's coming at some point. When you cannot take it any longer, you're just done. You let it go. You reach overhead, point your toes, spread your arms, hands wide so the whole arm is engaged, feeling that good stretch down the whole front of the body. Low back's popped up the floor a little bit here. And then settle your low back into the floor again. Draw your right knee into the chest. Keeping the left leg long, we'll squeeze that knee in as we exhale. We'll inhale, switch the knee coming in, lengthening the leg out. And exhale as we squeeze that knee toward our chest a little deeper. Inhale, switch. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, switch. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, switch. Exhale, squeeze. Last one, inhale, switch. Exhale, squeeze. Keeping this knee in your chest. You're going to dig this right heel into the floor as you take the right hand across that outside of the left knee, picking your hips up and stacking them a little bit. So you use that bottom heel to pick your hips up a little bit and stack them as you draw this knee across. That's going to keep your spine long, allow your shoulders to stay connected to your mat. That deeper alignment is going to allow for a deeper twist and really get into the muscles that we target in the supine twist. So your gaze is down that left arm. Your right knee is still adding a little pressure on this knee so that you can release on that bottom hip all the way. Or just notice, are you holding tension there? Often we hold tension without even realizing it. Taking a last breath here. Tighten the belt around your waist as you transition onto your back. It's protecting the low back as we transition to the other side. We're going to take this left leg long, draw this right knee into the chest, and we'll do the same thing. Use that heel to lift your hips and stack them as you're drawing this knee over the body. Keeping your shoulders connected, you're extending that right arm out, gazing down that right side, breathing into this supine twist. Last breath. Keep your belt tight as you transition again onto your back. You'll draw both knees into your chest. You'll hug across the shins or rock across behind the knees as you rock across that low back. Massaging the low back with your own body weight. We're coming into a final stretch. Happy baby. So come through center. You're going to open the knees, kiss the feet together, and then decide where you want to hold your feet. So some people like the outer edges. Some people like the big toe. Some people like the arches. Really your personal preference as you draw your knees out toward your armpits and then press the foot down toward the earth, engaging through the groin, inner thigh area. Breathe into that. You can stay here breathing into this deep groin stretch, or you can take a little bit of a rock and it just, again, using your own weight to break up the myofascia on the low back and just stretching also through the side seat a little bit as you rock in your happy baby. And then I've got one last stretch. Take it or leave it. Coming through center, you can draw one heel in as you extend the other heel out. And I like flowing this at the end of my classes, getting one final good stretch down the back of the legs. If something else would feel better to you right now, now's your time to take it. If in your practice you like something else here, go for it. I've got a couple more breaths. And then bringing those knees back into the chest one last time. I'm going to squeeze you into your final resting pose. And that looks like taking the knees close to the chest, lifting the head up toward your knees, squeezing your shoulders up toward your ears. Hold everything as tightly as you can, maybe even making a face. Take an inhale. And then peel yourself apart, legs to the outside, the edges of your mat. A little wider to those corners. Palms come out from the body, palms up. Maybe settle the spine in a little deeper onto the mat. Maybe even slightly tucking the chin to keep the length through the neck to the spine. Can we take these final moments to integrate the practice, to allow the body to just be in the breath, knowing there's no rush from here. And allow you to find your own way out of final resting pose in this practice, knowing that this may be a space that you could take some time and be in your breath. So from here, friends, I'm going to say, may the light in me delight, honor, cherish that same light in you, divine legend. Namaste.